Okay, now let's work a little bit on the properties of numbers. I gave you guys a little cheat sheet of the material that is in this 1-8. Honey, it's right there, the pink paper. I thought I gave you one yesterday. Mohammed, didn't you have one yesterday? Yeah, it's the same one. Yeah. So the first property I want to talk about is the commutative property. And you'll see here that I started off with A plus B, and now I have that equal to B plus A. So basically what the commutative property is saying is you can change the order, and I want you guys to put order there because it's important that you remember that the order change is what commutative means. Now this is only true for addition and multiplication. So let me give you a quick example. If I had 4 times 3, that's the same as 3 times 4. Both of those equal 12. And anytime you see where the order is changed, that's the commutative property. An example with addition would be 2 plus 1 is equal to 1 plus 2. Both of those equal 3. So that's what they mean by commutative property. Associative property. When you see associative property, I want you to think of grouping. The grouping is different, but the order is the same. So notice, and this is only for addition and multiplication as well. So you have A plus B plus C, but the parentheses is around A plus B. So that's the grouping at first. Then you have A plus B plus C, but grouped is B and C. Those groupings are different, so that's the associative property. The order is the same. Likewise, when you have multiplication, we have A times B times C. We grouped A and B initially. We have the same order, A times B times C, but we grouped B and C this time. So a quick example of that would be 2 times 3 times 4, and we grouped 2 and 3. And then we have 2 times 3 times 4, and we group 3 and 4. The answers are going to be the same. This one's going to be 6 times 4 is 24, and this one's going to be 12 times 2 is 24. So that's called the associative property. There's also the addition and subtraction properties of 0. You guys already know this. If I add 0 to any number, I get that number. So if the number is 10, 10 plus 0 is equal to 10. Likewise, if I have 11 minus 0, that's going to be equal to 11. So these are properties you already know and have used. Multiplication and division properties of 1. Any number times 1 is that answer or that number. So negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. 1 times negative 19 is equal to negative 19. I just used 2 negatives as a choice there. We also know we can take a number and divide it by 1, and that's also the number. So if I have 33 divided by 1, my answer is 33. However, if I have 33 divided by 33, well, that's 1 because 33 can only go into 33 one time. These are properties that you've already used. There's also the multiplication and division properties of 0. Basically, 0 times anything is 0. And you can never divide with a 0 in the divisor because it makes no sense. How many groups of 0 can I get out of a number? We wouldn't even waste our time. So in math, when they say this can never be equal if it's a denominator, we call that undefined. You never divide by 0. It makes no sense. However, you can divide into 0. If you have 100 items that you want to divide into 0, that means you ain't going to do that very many times because you're going to get 0. So this is possible where 0 is your dividend. This is not possible when 0 is your divisor. You can never have some number 0 into some number that's undefined. Okay, and then the distributive property, if you have multiplication here on the outside and either addition, this also works for subtraction. So in addition to subtraction, I can have the distributive property. What I would do is I would take A times B plus A times C. And you see that here. A times B plus A times C. You get the same answer. And likewise when you're subtracting. A times B minus A times C will be done the same way. So anytime you have to distribute the terms or separate the terms out is how I keep it as a clue. What property is number 1? Why is that commutative? Order change. Yeah, so that's how I want you guys to remember this, okay? This is commutative because the order changed. What about number 2? Okay, and why is it associative? The parentheses has changed. So basically the grouping has changed, right? Okay, what about number 3? Property of 1, right? So multiplication property of 1. Okay, and what about number 4? That's one of those 0 properties, right? Subtraction property of 0. So I think you guys can do the rest of these. All you have to do... Why? What's wrong with the next one? What's wrong with it? That should be a piece of cake. Which one is that one? Distributive property, right. You're distributing 91 to each one of these. So why was that so difficult? Oh, okay, but you're right. It's distributive. I've given you a cheat sheet. Some of you guys don't look at my cheat sheets, and I know you need them. Okay, so what about number 6? That's what? What's number 6? Right, it's the grouping that's changed, right? And when it's a group, it's associative. When it's the order, it's commutative. And if you're separating terms, that's distributive. Come on, piece of cake. Now, can I move to the next exercise now? You guys can do the rest? Yeah? Okay. All right, the next set of exercises are on page 5. I also put the cheat sheet up there above. So is there one in exercise B you want to do together? And it's okay to use my little cheat sheet at the top. What's number 12? Distributive. Now, why is number 12 distributive? Yeah, because 7 times 9 is 63, and 7 times 8 is 56. But is that all I'm supposed to do besides name the property on this exercise? What else am I supposed to do? Simplify it. Yeah, so that means I'm going to be getting an answer for that because there's a number. So who can tell me what is 63 plus 56? How much? 119. So just remember on exercise B, name the property but also solve the expression. Okay? Now, you can finish this up and check your answers in the answer key before you leave if you have time today, or you can check it when you come back. Any more questions? This should be pretty easy with my cheat sheet. I'm thinking it's easy. All righty. Any more questions?